If someone asked you to imagine what space warfare would look like, what would you envision? Would you picture armadas of titanic ships clashing in pitched battles? Maybe you'd visualize swarms of fighters instead, sent out to cripple the opposing mothership. What kind of weapons would you use? What kind of defenses would you have? What kinds of ships would you even use to wage war in space? This may seem like an impossibly open-ended question at first. The geometric possibilities alone for a spaceship are endless if the Star Wars universe is to be believed. But forget the flashy weapons, forget about faster-than-light travel, forget the skin-tight outfits. Whatever mankind ends up building to wage extraterrestrial war will have to submit to some very simple realities of physics. Realities that Hollywood often neglects. Let's talk about something simple, like how to get from point A to point B in space. Say you're cruising around in the middle of nowhere, and you want to make a turn. How would you do it? By the way, if you're cruising, your engine should be off. Otherwise you'd keep accelerating, racing off into oblivion, and that just sounds like a bad idea. Or a passable emo song. You could point your nose in the direction you want to go and fire your engines, but it probably wouldn't go so well. As one smart fellow in the late 1600s explained, an object in motion stays in motion. So in this coordinate system, your spaceship's x-velocity won't change unless you act to remove it. To make a 90-degree turn, you'd have to pull off an interstellar version of Tokyo Drift. In the entire history of human entertainment, there's only been one correct portrayal of this mechanic. Of course, there is a way around all of this. Put engines all over your ship. Or you could use thrust vectoring, except then you'd have to make your engines pivot about your center of gravity, and if you lost an engine you'd be completely screwed, so never mind. In short, no sane space pilot or captain would ever elect to perform any of the wild maneuvers you see in movies or on TV. In much the same way that altitude is extremely valuable to a pilot in a dogfight, speed is kinetic currency in space. It keeps you in orbit around a planet, it makes you a difficult target to hit, and it doesn't come cheap. You wouldn't want to waste precious energy, fuel, and time fighting your own inertia if you didn't have to. There are smart ways to fly, and there are dumb ways to fly. All it takes is a little knowledge of physics and astrodynamics, and you can easily figure them out for yourself. This is rocket science, but it's more intuitive than you think. This brings us to, how would you actually fight in space? Which is something I think I'll save for a future episode of Cynical Science. Until then, hold on to this one thought. The Imperial Star Destroyer is one of the smartest ship designs ever conceived.